Hey, Greg Comeaux here tonight, March 11th, rainy night in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Sitting here with my better half inside enjoying the night, and I wanted to talk about something that's a silent killer out there, and I have a lot of questions geared towards steroids. How can guys gain weight? And I basically deal with folks that are 40, 50, 60, and older. So most of the time I get guys that are asking me, what cycle am I on? What steroids am I doing? And I clarify that right away. I did steroids over 30 years ago. I'm not interested in doing it anymore because the silent killer I want to talk about is sleep apnea. And the side effects of steroids, I'm here to say that it's not necessarily the steroids themselves that are killing you, but it's the side effects of them. Say, for instance, you're eating crappy food all the time, and people get on steroids. What happens is your body starts to get this subcutaneous water, it starts to bloat, and so you start to gain dimensions. You get bigger, but you're smooth. So it's not pleasing to the eye for one thing, but bodybuilders have to do that more times than not to gain muscle and size in the off season. But for the regular man and woman that's out there that wants to gain a little bit of size, what I want to talk about first is, I think it's important to say size is all relative. I like to have the clarity of my muscles. I'm still working at 62 years of age to have the bellies of my muscles looking full, looking round, my chest. My shoulders have a roundness to them, at least I'm trying to have that. My biceps, my hamstrings. I'm trying to get a symmetrical look in the front of my thighs as well as the balls and my calves. So I think it's important to go after. I told a lot of guys today, I had those questions. For some reason today, guys were saying, how do I get bigger? Well, to me, I think the science stipulates that you can really only gain 8 to 10 pounds of real solid muscle in a year. Things may have changed, and you can maybe gain more than that, but I'm pretty sure the science states that you can gain probably 8 to 10 to 12 pounds a year of solid muscle, which is a lot of muscle. Dimensionally, we know that, and if you haven't been part of bodybuilding or been to a bodybuilding show or to a fitness show for women, it's all about the illusion. People cut down, they get big in the off season, and they cut down for why? Because they want the lines, they want the symmetry, they want that etched look to be so apparent that you can see it under the lights, almost like an anatomy chart, and that's what WIN shows. Ripped abdominal sections, the clarity in backs and traps and triceps and biceps and legs when you flex your legs. So to me, it's important, and if you know me and you see me on TV or you see me on the web, you'll see me all year round posting pictures, and the reason is I want to prove to people, listen, you can't be on steroids year round because that's definitely unhealthy for you to tear your kidneys apart and whatever else in your body. I want people to know that at 62 years of age, you can stay in shape year round, and I probably stay 5 to 7 pounds out of what I would call contest shape year round. I like it. Some people would say it's unhealthy, but I seldom ever get sick. I seldom ever get colds, and if I feel a little bit under the weather, it probably lasts for a day and a half, and that's it. I'm lucky, and because I'm actually proactive about what I eat, what I drink, supplements such as vitamin C. I take a D3, 2,000 international units every day, irregardless of whether I'm in the sun or not. And I take folic acid for nerves. I think that's good for you as you get a little bit older, and I take B vitamins, a little bit of fish oil. So I think, for connective tissue, not much on chondroitin and glucosamine. I didn't find that worked for me that much, and I probably have one injury in my body, and that is my thumb. I have a little bit of arthritis, and it's probably from playing too much golf, supinating, and doing weights over the years and punching bags. Who knows why I got it, but it's there. It's part of my gene pool. My dad had osteoarthritis before he died, neuropathy in his feet, so I'm hoping to stay away from that and break that cycle by eating as clean as I can, especially now that I've gotten older. But sleep apnea. What I want to say is, a while back when I got back to Louisiana, while my mom was, we put her in an elderly care facility, it was really tough on me. It was mentally draining to see the process that she was going through day after day, and to be estranged out of her home after, almost 50 years, and to go into the care of other people. it was good and it was bad. It was, I think, worse for me than it was for her. And so I started to eat more, living in Louisiana. The healthy, great food they have here, cuisine-wise, is not always conducive to the bodybuilding world or the fitness world. So it's not that I gained it around the stomach, it's that I gained quite a few pounds as far as I started to do heavy weights, and I took on a different workout regimen a year and a half ago, and I got up to around 250 pounds. And I gotta tell you, my kids will tell you, my girlfriend will tell you, my brothers will tell you, I would complain to them that, wow, I would wake up out of my sleep trying to gasp to catch my breath. And I realized for the first time in my life, what the hell do I have? Well, I had sleep apnea, and it led to a form of narcolepsy during the day, which a friend of mine has, and his father's a doctor, a real good friend of mine. And I mean, I'd find myself taking 10-minute naps after I got up, an hour later in the morning, fresh to go. I was sleeping at a park for 10 minutes, driving down the road after dropping my child off at school because I couldn't make a 13-mile trek back from Central to Baton Rouge. So there's problems with sleep apnea. And the worst one is you can stop breathing for seconds, 30 seconds, and up to 1 or 2 minutes a time. And sometimes you don't catch your breath and you die in your sleep. So the tragedy that has befell a lot of bodybuilders out there has been sleep apnea. I don't know if you've Googled dead bodybuilders, but a lot of people, some of them come down with heart attacks. The guys who are 300-pound monsters and walk around year in and year out. That's very taxing on your heart, especially if you come from, the type of build that's maybe a 180-pound kid that grows up to, really, embrace bodybuilding, and you go to 250, 260, 275, 300, along the way, your volume is pumping that blood in those muscles every day, but that heart is enlarging, and that's a lot of weight to carry and a lot for that heart to facilitate day in and day out. So, the problems with sleep apnea is that it is a silent killer. I encourage each and every guy out there, especially, to Google sleep apnea before you think about gaining large quantities of muscle. I think, in my own humble opinion, that it's best, especially as you get over 40 years of age, to stay 5 or 10 pounds out of your contest shape, so to speak, look, or stay 5 pounds out of it. But I think anything over 10 pounds starts to get, you start to get that retention. And most of all, what happens is, I wanted to tell people, you get, you get high blood pressure for one thing. High blood pressure is dangerous. It leads to strokes. It leads to heart attack. Your blood viscosity changes. Your heart rate gets a little bit faster. So, those things are a detriment, especially as you get over 40 years of age. This past week, I have a friend of mine who lost her nephew. He was 34 years of age. He passed away probably about 3 o'clock this evening at Baton Rouge General Hospital, 34 years of age of a heart attack. Naturally, he was overweight. I think he suffered from diabetes, but what a tragedy. They took him off life support, and that was it. I had a friend that died, just before December, cirrhosis of the liver, fatty tissues, and it was not from drinking. He never drank, he never smoked. He thought it was funny to constantly eat the rich foods day in and day out, and he used to, admonish me and say, I'm outlive you, because all this pretty boy weightlifting, is going to get to you. And I thought, I'm not that much of a weightlifter like you think I am. I do a variety of workouts from, resistance to calisthenics to plyometrics to running. So I do a litany of different workouts that we'll get into as the months go on, which you'll see is exactly how I like to train through the different seasons. But neither here nor there, what I wanted to tell you guys tonight, and girls too, if your guy has a snoring problem, I promise you, pay attention to it. Get him on some kind of diet, or get yourselves on a diet, guys. Be responsible and be proactive about eating, because it's your one life. And to die in your sleep is tragic when you could have done something about it. Keep yourself in shape. That's why I like to do a little bit higher reps. I still get the clarity. I still build my body. I still look pretty damn good for 62 years of age. And people ask me all the time, what are you on? And I always tell them, I'm on a journey to look better. If you're thinking I'm on steroids, I don't need to be on them anymore. I don't need them. If there's products that are out there, and there are products that are out there at the different vitamin stores, like I stated last night, there's creatines, there's different proteins now that are a molecule away from steroids. I don't even kind of venture there, which I have in the past, different creatines I took, and God, it just wasn't for me. I didn't feel good. I bloated. I was always, red in the face. I'm sure my blood pressure went up, and I thought, at 60, 62 years of age, I don't need it. So for the past year, I can tell you, the creatines, the extra proteins that are out there. I like to eat food. You can take a casein protein at night. I think that's conducive for a stabilized heart rate to keep you through the night, and kind of a time-released protein that keeps feeding protein into your body, so you get, a good REM sleep and you get into a delta sleep. That way your body can finally rest and recuperate properly, and the next day you can wake up good. And, to me, that's important. Don't let sleep apnea, the silent killer, get a hold of you, get you into a snoring regimen that can just become a snowball effect, and one day, who knows, take one of our lives, so that's why I'm passionate about it. I was having a lot of problems, and I said, do I want to look good? Do I want to look big? Do I want all the acclaim? Do I need the ego to look in the mirror, or do I need to reassess myself and say, listen, champ, you're 62 years of age. I actually get more looks. I actually get more acclaim. I actually get more positive reaffirmation from people telling me, wow, dude, I like the way you look. You're getting ready for a contest. Am I a monster? Not at all. But it's more conducive for my health, for my quality of life. And I got to tell you, I'm about 220 pounds even right now. I've even lost another 7 pounds in the last 2.5 weeks. And I sleep a hell of a lot better. I wake up a heck of a lot more energized, and I don't need the 10-minute naps, and I don't fall asleep behind the wheel of a car, because I've always told, Christy, I would say, honey, you drive at night. I'm afraid of my own self to drive at night because I'll fall asleep. And it's a form of narcolepsy, but more than anything, it's a form of not sleeping properly through the night. And that was because of the foods I was eating. I wasn't really proactive about eating the right foods, and I changed it instantly. And when I lost the 30 pounds, little by little, I could feel the bloat in my face going down. I could hardly bend down sometimes to tie my shoes at 250 pounds. So I do feel for the guys that are 270, 300 pounds, because I know sometimes it's got to be tough looking that good. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just me. And like I said, that's my humble opinion. But, I love everybody out there. I love the journey I'm on. I like expressing ideas and exchanging ideas with you guys and girls like you do me as well. So that's why I wanted to talk about sleep apnea tonight, high blood pressure, increased heart rate. Don't let it take you down. Keep yourself 5 to 10 pounds out. Be proactive, be meticulous about what you eat in the mornings, what you eat throughout the day, and after 6 o'clock in the evening, take the sweets away, take the simplex carbohydrates away, take the milk away, take the sugars away. And if you want to eat your carbohydrates, try to eat them in the morning time, before noontime. But I will say, after I work out, regardless of when it is I work out, I will have a carbohydrate to put that nitrogen back in my body, and a little sugar, fructose, back in my system to give me that pump, to keep that pump there. So I will have a yam after I work out, and I usually have a carbohydrate before I work out as well. So be active about what you eat in the mornings. A good source of fiber, whether it be a brown rice. Sometimes I eat with blueberries on it. I'm a weird finicky guy. Or most of the time I'll eat blueberries or strawberries or raspberries, usually on a bowl of oatmeal with 3 to 5 eggs, mostly egg whites, and maybe a piece of toast or another piece of fruit. And after that, through the day, I'm munching. I'm taking in nuts, or raw nuts, almonds. I love things like that. Unsalted peanuts. I love to munch on things like that. And then, of course, during the day, I'm always eating spinach salads. I think the greens are great for your body. Keep that plaque from building up in your body, especially as you get older. And I'm proactive about going to the doctor because I always want to know exactly where I'm at so I can make these comparisons to people out there to say I have been checked by doctors. And so far, knock on wood, everything's going good because I am attentive about what I eat. And when I go to reach for junk, I say, do you want that for what? Instant gratification, because The problem is what happens after that. So especially if you're taking products that can bloat you, and they refer to steroids, I think, as gear now. You know, whatever gear you're on or you're wanting to get on, look before you leap. The grass isn't always green. It's easier for me to say that because I was on it 30 years ago, and by no means am I trying to sound sour, because I think there's a lot of bodybuilders out there that did it right. They used steroids, or they used whatever means they had to get big and to get in shape and win contests. And a lot of them are healthy. A lot of them are still living great lives, great quality of lives. But I think the game has gotten a little bit out of touch now, and there's a lot of side effects and a lot of dangers out there. So for the men and women that are 40, 50, 60 years of age and higher, I like to do a little bit higher reps, a little bit lighter weight, so the inflammation that is prominent and prevalent in your body, you know, your lactic acid buildups are not so much as that you can't get up in the morning and you're sore and you can't get the hell out of bed. You know, I want you to jump out of bed exactly like I do, and I don't mean spring out of bed, but I mean feel darn good about getting up in the mornings. I don't need coffee in the morning. I feel great in the morning. I will have a cup of coffee once in a great while, but to me it gives me the jitters, so I don't need it. I drink a little bit of water or some juice, and I'm on my way out the door. But my bowl of oatmeal sustains me for about 2 hours. After that, I probably have a protein shake. But I'm staying around 220 pounds. This has been my weight for probably the last 30 years, and I'm back at 62 years of age, coming on 63, and quick. I feel great. I sleep good. So remember, at nighttime before you go down, give yourself 5 to 10 minutes of stretching. Open your mind up, release all the stress that's in there from the day. Let all your problems go from yesterday and all the problems you think that you're going to encounter tomorrow, and just try to live in the moment. Keep your thoughts quiet. I'm not a meditation freak. I'm not a transcendental meditator out there. I'm just a guy that's saying, I think from experience, 10 to 15 minutes a night to stretch, to get in that bed, quiet my thoughts. I sleep a heck of a lot better. I quiet my brain, and I kind of focus on what I'm going to do the next day and say, I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to train right, even if it's just a brisk walk outside, even if it's just a few stretches or a resistance band inside, or just playing with my 9-year-old at the park, whatever it is, or playing a game of golf. Do it, with promise, and do it with conviction, and make sure you eat right. Make sure, Tim Belknap was a good friend of mine. He was a Mr. America, and he used to tell a friend of mine all the time, she used to ask him questions, but then she'd go behind him and eat the worst of foods, and he'd say, what you just did in the gym was for naught. Because it's the other 23 hours that matter once you get out of the gym. Anybody can lift weights, but now you have to lift with a rhyme and a reason and a purpose. But most importantly, you are what you eat, and your health matters. And, blood pressure just goes like this as you get older, because for some reason when people get older, they think, I've worked all my life. And I hear so many guys and so many girls say, I owe it to myself. I'm going fishing, I'm going drinking beer, I'm smoking my cigarettes, I'm sitting on a damn couch, and I'm going to watch TV. And it's a tongue-in-cheek, thing down here in the South. And a lot of people say, hey, that's what I'm about. I'm enjoying life. Until that day comes, you are flat on your back and your quality of life changes. So don't be one of those people. Have your cake and eat it too. Just know when to eat your cake. Try to keep yourself in check. Go check with a doctor. And if you are snoring, cut back on the calories, cut back on the heavy weights, and cut back on the products that you may be taking. Even if you aren't, cut the booze out. That's probably one of the reasons. Beer sometimes can be that way. Sorry to the beer companies out there, but I gotta keep my buds out there and my peeps healthy. So minimize your drinking, minimize your sugars. Bring them to a screeching halt, to the point where you can have that cake, you can have that beer, you can have that glass of wine. Try to avoid the cigarettes. I think smoke at a certain point leads to strokes. So try to be proactive. That's what we're on here about, getting everybody on the midnight train to health. And that is being proactive about your health every single day. Your kids look up to you. Treat them right, treat them with respect, treat them with love, and they'll treat you with that loyalty and devotion, because you'll be their hero. Just like you guys are my hero, I hope to be your hero as well, because we're all in this together. We're all works in progress. So the hidden danger, the hidden silent killer is diabetes, sleep apnea. Those are two monsters that are out there, and that because of the foods that we eat, the things that we drink, and unfortunately the air that we breathe is not always as healthy as we'd like it to be. So be proactive. Have a good night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope it didn't run on too much, but sleep right, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless everybody, and have a great weekend. Thanks.